Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to the Infinite Crisis Winter Open issue number 1. I'm Nick Axavranish here, joined by Megan Zagnet-Bow, giving you a very special tournament featuring the best Infinite Crisers in the world right now. How you doing, Megan?
I'm doing great. I'm super excited to see these games. I've been anticipating them for a while, and I'm glad to finally be here to see how they pan out.
So, what this is, to explain a little bit more about this whole tournament structure and everything, what's going on here is, this is the debut of MLG's new Winter Open Infinite Crisis Tournament. The way it works is there's 4 weeks, 4 open tournaments. Each of those open tournaments, if your team wins that, you win $500, plus more importantly, you win pro points. The 3 teams with the most pro points at the end of the 4 open tournaments will be qualified for a $5,000 tournament finals. There'll also be a 5th tournament to find a fourth team to qualify for that $5,000 finals. So basically, there's a lot of money on the line, a pretty awesome deal, and anyone can sign up. So you can just go ahead and grab 4 of your buddies and just go ahead and sign up for the Infinite Crisis Tournament on MLGplay.com. Now, before we get into talking about the tournament and actually the games going on here, why don't you tell us a little about the game of Infinite Crisis?
Sure. So Infinite Crisis is a MOBA that's basically about superheroes and making it feel authentic. So we want to have that PvP aspect, that arena, you know, that head-to-head awesome action going on all the time, but you want you to feel like an actual superhero. So we have the destructible environment and, you know, these in-game objectives that let you manipulate the world. Super destructive, and everybody that you play feels really strong. So it's definitely fun. It combines the MOBA experience with the common sense experience.
Sounds pretty awesome. Now, the first of these 4 tournaments was on Sunday, this past Sunday, and in fact, the future ones will be on Sundays as well. So if you have Sunday free, go ahead and remember to sign up and have a shot at winning the $500, and of course, a shot at the bigger prize pool of $5,000 a little later down the road. So what we did is we captured the finals of the tournament, the very final match of the 2 teams that made it to the grand finals, and that's going to be KGB against Vengeance Gaming. Why don't we take a look at the bracket, though, and figure out how these 2 teams made it to the finals.
Start with KGB first. So for KGB, which is Clever Gaming, we've got Spaghetti, Telekinetic, Blue Freeze, Platypus, and Nine. So, I mean, I know a lot about these players. I've played with them. I've had the misfortune of playing against them. They have a lot of unique strengths, so I think this is going to be a pretty big challenge for Vengeance to overcome the amount of synergy that KGB has.
Okay, so you say this team has a ton of synergy now. If we take a look at the bracket and the teams they ran up against, did you recognize some of the other teams in the bracket and you think maybe KGB or Vengeance maybe had an easier or tough run, or were some of these guys really tough opponents for them?
Well, I think, you know, there's, so like Vex and KGB and Vengeance, they all play really often. They're the ones that are super active on the forums. They're, you know, writing guides all of the time. They're trying to help new players learn the game. They're all fantastic, and they all have their own unique strengths. I've definitely seen the matchups, and you know, knowing that McChuckles is on Vengeance. Actually, let's talk about who's going to be on Vengeance before we delve into that.
Sure.
So we've got Supreme Beam, Droog, Floetic, McChuckles, and Johnny. And everybody is so individually skilled. I'm just scared because I've definitely been stomped by KGB. Spaghetti has come out of the jungle and killed me repeatedly. And, you know, at least with Vengeance, I can blame anything that happens on McChuckles. I don't know. It's like, but with KGB, everybody's equally trying to kind of go for the prize there. But I think that they're definitely equally matched, and it just depends on really probably who gets that early snowball. So.
Okay, well, now that we talked a little bit about the teams and of course, what's on the line. Remember, the winner of this not only gets $500, which is a lot of money for one game of Infinite Crisis, but they also get those pro points. And again, the tournament structure is best of 1. So all you have to do is win the 1 match. Match can be anywhere between 15 minutes to maybe an hour, maybe even longer than an hour if it's a super, super epic match. So talking about the possible outcomes, it seems like you were a little more confident in Team KGB. You said, you know, Spaghetti's come out of the jungle a lot of times and stomped you. You said Nine's a very solid player.
This is a personal vendetta I have against them, I guess. I haven't played with Vengeance as much as I've played with the people from KGB.
Okay.
But I know that Vengeance are incredible players, so I think they should be able to give them a run for their money at the very least. I just know that I really need to pay Spaghetti back for the Atomic Wonder Woman pain he gave me when I was trying to jungle.
Well, why don't we actually see if Vengeance Gaming can take some revenge on your behalf here this match. And without further ado, let's get started with the final match. All right, so we can see here, this is the final match, KGB against Vengeance Gaming. And the format, the teams don't see what other champions the other team picks. It's not like a draft mode. There's no bans. It's pretty much all pick, and it is blind pick as well, right? So you don't know the other team's composition as you're picking yours.
Yeah, ranked is actually coming out soon, but for now, the way that we've handled these little tournaments is that we're having them pre-ban, I believe. I think they're agreeing upon what they're letting each other pick, if that makes any sense. So we might not see Flash, for example, because maybe they decided that Flash shouldn't be in the game. You know, because he's really strong. Unanimously, people regard him as strong. So maybe that's how it'll go.
So one thing I want to ask you really quick is now that we see all the picks, we see Atomic Wonder Woman on both sides, we see Joker on both sides.
Right.
And then otherwise, there's a little bit of different choices there. But you can see those two are clearly considered, you know, definitely ones that both team wants. But there was also a recent patch, I think November 20th, so just about 2-3 weeks ago or so. And on that patch, there was very heavy nerfs to the Flash, Batman, and I think a moderate nerf to Shazam as well. How has that affected gameplay? For example, is the classic Batman Prime, is he still a particularly strong character, or is he just more of like a mid-ranked one now?
Yeah, I think that Batman Prime is not easily accessible to a player who just picks him up because he's got a little bit of finagling to learn his combos, but I think that he's still definitely powerful. The slight nerfs to Shazam and Flash did not really ruin them at all. They're still very, very strong, very viable. Like I said, so I think that maybe they decided that neither team would play Flash, but seeing that we have the mirror picks of Joker and Atomic Wonder Woman, they're still not pulling out, or they're pulling out all of the stops for whom everybody agrees upon is the strongest champion to play. So, you know, like I said, it was actually Atomic Wonder Woman that Spaghetti kept repeatedly dunking me in the jungle that time, so I'm expecting to see something similar happening here.
Definitely very intimidating champion. Now, before too much gets started in the game, another champion I want to ask about that's not present in this game is Atomic Green Lantern. I feel like I see him a lot on when I play, and even I run to some of these players who actually play him as well, but I haven't seen him in this particular match. You think, is he lost popularity, or is maybe he just someone both teams decided we're not going to be to use him?
I think that he fits really well into certain team comps, but when you consider the style that they're going with, they've already got the support with Arcane Green Lantern on, you know, well, McChuckle's on Arcane Green Lantern. They don't really need the AoE interruption that Atomic Green Lantern is going to be bringing to the table, so they probably just decided they didn't fit the comp, but he's definitely incredibly powerful, and I think even the pro players feel that way.
Okay, so now we can talk about the kind of breakup of the teams. You can see here Arcane Green Lantern and Joker on the bottom for Vengeance Gaming versus Joker and Green Lantern for KGB. Now, which are those compositions? It seems to me that Joker and Green Lantern should be pushed pretty aggressively, right?
They're definitely pretty devastating when you consider the power armor shred from Green Lantern's missiles, which are on his E. Having a lane partner that deals power damage primarily is super, super devastating, and Arcane Green Lantern doesn't really have the type of harass, but I mean, as long as they play their cards right and they don't take too much damage, which will be kind of difficult against Green Lantern, as long as they don't take too much damage, they won't be bullied out too hard.
We can see that lane's being pushed back a bit now. And in different games in the MOBA genre, sometimes you actually want to have your lane pushed back, and sometimes you want to be the team pushing the lane depending on the circumstances. In Infinite Crisis, is it in the early game, is it a good goal to try to push your lane aggressively like we see KGB doing here at the bottom?
I think as long as you have vision of the area, it's perfectly fine to push your lane, and as long as you have confidence that you can escape from any people who might be coming to gank you, because you don't really want to go and make yourself vulnerable if you're not absolutely certain that you're not setting yourself up for a gank, because of course the penalty of pushing out really far is that you don't know whether or not somebody's lurking nearby to try to grab you for overextending.
So of course we see both the AD carry type characters, Cyborg and Batman at the top, just trying to farm as many drones as possible. We do see Vengeance send in their Atomic Wonder Woman from Supreme to try to get something going on KGB, but both Joker and Green Lantern still have very high life. That had to be considered an unsuccessful attempt there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Atomic Wonder Woman is one of those tricky characters to really get rolling super early. So unless she's in a perfect situation to really pick up that kill, or she hops onto somebody with really low health, it's kind of difficult to make a play with her until she really gets her ultimate and she can chase somebody down, you know, across half of the map.
So that's always one of those big kind of questions if you're someone in the jungle, like here we have Spaghetti and Supreme playing the jungle Atomic Wonder Womans on both sides, is when do you come in, you know, you stop kind of just like farming in jungle and you say, I'm going to try to go and either, you know, hurt someone enough that they have to leave the lane or maybe even grab a kill there. And it looks like Supreme decided to go for that a little bit earlier, whereas Spaghetti is kind of just more staying in jungle, coming into the other side of the jungle once or twice here. And then we also have Wonder Woman Prime from Team KGB as well. And she's just been really passively jungling. But that's, I mean, Wonder Woman Prime isn't someone who can really come in and kill someone that quickly, right?
Right, and once again, kind of similar to Atomic Wonder Woman in that having your ultimate really boosts your power. So they're both definitely viable. I mean, Atomic Wonder Woman has Revolt, so she can close that gap, and Wonder Woman Prime has the Q, the lasso that she can throw that will also close gaps and stun. But other than that, I mean, Atomic Wonder Woman has the damage, and the CC from Wonder Woman Prime will give it that way. But I mean, like, it's definitely difficult for the early game ganks for both of them. You really have to get something super set up, super synergized to perfect that.
So here at the top we see it's Cyborg versus Gaslight Batman. Now, what are kind of they're both basically their primary functions to do a lot of basic damage with their primary attack at a range. Of course, they're marksmen. Now, what are the advantages and disadvantages? How do you compare and contrast Cyborg versus Gaslight Batman in this situation?
Cyborg and Gaslight Batman have two definitely very unique strengths. Both being marksmen, you're obviously doing the same thing, which is basic attacking and trying to make that happen. But Cyborg really relies around landing his Q and throwing a basic attack, whereas it's actually sort of the opposite for Gaslight Batman. You want to land your basic attack and then have his Batarang bounce to other targets. But Gaslight Batman is a little bit more safe. He can kind of hop out of it, but Cyborg's more of an all-in end game with his attack speed steroid. He can do massive AoE damage with the way that his ultimate works, allowing him to penetrate targets. Cyborg is more of the risky, like high risk, high reward champion to be playing.
So you're talking about Cyborg's Q there, and you can see it a couple times. There was once on the drone, was once on the hero. It's a tracer shot that basically puts a little circular crosshairs on the opponent, and then it makes subsequent attacks just a little more damage. And it's basically puts the marksman, it puts a little target on you, and if you're hit by that target, you know you're in trouble, and you better get away because Cyborg's coming for you.
Absolutely. And it's, I don't know, you say a little bit of damage, I feel like it does like substantial amount of damage. It does actually a lot of damage.
Everything Cyborg does is a lot of damage. He's got a giant plasma gun, right?
Yeah.
So he's been able to out-level Johnny a bit here at the top, level 7, level 6. Is that primarily due to the one time that Johnny had two teammates jump in the lane and try to attempt a jack on Cyborg that he evaded, or what's...
That's definitely a factor that could be contributing. I wonder if it's not just because Gaslight Batman may have, since that time, been playing a little bit more safely. He might have been falling a little bit back behind his drone wave, but yeah, it probably did directly influence Gasbat being out a little bit. I think Johnny was like, well, knowing that there's a few people keeping an eye on my lane, maybe I shouldn't really be poking out.
Well, it looks like Wonder Woman's joining the party now. That means they're going to start pushing the lane here. And she's not... Oh, now she's level 6. She came in. Now she has the ultimate. She could probably use that to drag in Gaslight Batman. And then Cyborg do a lot of damage. Of course, if he's underneath the turret, it's a very risky move. As when you're level 6, a turret can take you down fairly quickly, even if you are Wonder Woman, one of the tankiest heroes in the game. So she's just going to back away. In fact, both of them went back home. So they're going to buy some new items. And is this, when people go back to buy a bunch of new items, is that often a precursor to a big push? Like, oh, now we have all our damage, and they might not have the items.
Not necessarily. I think they may have been a little late on preparing for the Raider spawn at 7.
Okay.
I think maybe not even that. I think she just decided, well, right now I'm level 6. Perhaps I'm going to get an artifact that might help me secure this objective. But like you can see, she's heading right down for it now. So it's definitely something that everybody goes for at 7 minutes, is the Raider.
Okay, so of course you just mentioned the Raider spawns every 7 minutes. It's basically a giant drone. It gives a lot of experience to whichever team takes it, but it's dangerous to go for. Here we go. KGB's coming in here. Atomic Wonder Woman gets initiation. A good Joker ultimate goes down well, and Vengeance Gaming just getting rocked here.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Joker ultimate is super devastating, and that setup with the Wonder Woman ult, just a little bit too much for everything that was happening.
So, of course, the Wonder Woman ultimate there is basically a taunt that drives the rest of the team into her, and you're all forced to attack her. So, if you can get Wonder Woman in a situation where there's 3 to 4 of the opposing team near her, she can pop her ultimate, then all those 3 or 4 are stuck in a single location for a couple seconds. And anybody who has a giant air effect ultimate like Joker, that's just a prime target for mass destruction.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the Joker Wonder Woman combo, and getting that Raider is so important. It gives 1,000 credits globally, meaning even Cyborg up there in top lane gets 200 credits. Well, I shouldn't say 1,000, you don't get 1,000 each. You get 200 each, which adds up to 1,000 total team credits. But Cyborg up there just got a nice little bonus, not even doing anything, just kind of staying in his lane. So it's really important to keep control of that area, and both of them fought for it, but that Wonder Woman ult was just way too good of a setup on Blue's part.
And to put a little bit of that in perspective, you can see as the drones are being last hit, if you last hit a drone, it gives you, at this point in the game, somewhere between 15 and 20 credits, depending on what type of drone it is. Yep. And so it's basically like you get 10 free last hits, everyone on your team does, which is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, exactly. And I believe it might give you experience as well. It might only give experience to the people in the area, but I think that it still does give experience in general.
Oh, Arcane Green Lantern saving Supreme. They're going to get the kill on Joker. Now Green Lantern's on to retreat. Was that... Oh, Green Lantern actually picks up the kill before he gets away. I think he's going to get away. Yes, he is. Oh, and now Spaghetti comes out of nowhere. At first, I thought that might have been a little bit over-ambitious from Team KGB, and it looks like maybe it is going to end up that way overall. I think Vengeance got the better end of that trade.
Really easy to fall into the trap of getting into a huge fight and just trying to take everybody out, but not being aware of who might be nearby to stop that.
And Shazam is one of the scariest guys. You can see that there. He came with his ultimate near the end of that battle, picked up the kill on Green Lantern. Or actually, I don't know if he exactly got the kill or not, but he put a ton of damage on Green Lantern. Yeah, oh, look at that. Nice little combination moves there at the Wonder Woman ultimate, and then Cyborg dishing out so much damage.
Yeah, that was actually a really incredible play. Unfortunately, Johnny looks like he played in the wrong way, but definitely still able to pick up that kill. Bluefreeze did an excellent job taking that turret right there, just kind of hanging around and taking all the shots.
Yeah, that was really nice. So basically, Wonder Woman, her ultimate kind of combines with like anybody. Yeah. It seems like, because we just talked about the Wonder Woman Joker ultimate. We saw it right here with Cyborg as well, and Shazam's going to try to save a turret. He's just going to go down quick. And this is something that I've seen a couple times in Infinite Crisis is the people who are soloing the top for the whole game, you can see their 9 is now level 11. And Shazam, even though Shazam often, if he's equally level, can come in there and take down Cyborg pretty well, he was only level 7, so he came in there and just died instantly.
Yeah, and that's something that you don't usually want to do, is just go in and die instantly. At least that's my thing.
It's not usually the goal there. We just saw, again, KGB not afraid of going into turrets. So you can see Infinite Crisis definitely rewards aggressive gameplay if you execute it correctly. Now, of course, you don't just want to run into a turret, you know, without kind of having a plan there. But with the proper teamwork, a turret isn't the ultimate deterrent.
Yeah, a turret is definitely kind of the mark for this is the path that you need to go to win the lane. This is where you go to get experience from drones. This is kind of like the default that people go to, but it's not the only place that you can go. And staying in lane is obviously important because getting credits and getting experience is going to bring you more credits, give you like the end game potential. Whereas running around in the jungle, oh poor Platypus.
You know, he's gone and kind of ambushed a couple times. That's something that happens in Green Lantern, but he's done a good job himself. He's got plenty of kills.
Oh yeah, the most kills.
Yeah, he's most kills out of anyone in the game right now. Oh, it looks like Vengeance Gaming kind of on the KGB side of the map, trying to go after Joker there, but Joker's wily. It's hard to really run him down.
Yeah, definitely don't really want to chase Joker. In fact, Joker really excels with people chasing him. He's the kind of person that's super trolly. He's like, come at me, and he just has the slows and the short range abilities that he can throw right behind. But I think they're probably just going to want to get out of there, knowing that the fight's not really on their side.
KGB is very, very aggressive. You can see there, at one point it was 2 of them chasing 4 of the opposing team. Luckily they had a 3rd come in from behind, but it looks like it's going to work out for them. Even look at Green Lantern, normally a squishy. He was stepping forward for a while there. That's how aggressive these guys are trying to play here. Yeah.
And they're really good at turning a situation around. They're also responsive, and they all make sure that they're all in the same place. So I think Vengeance thought that they had the numbers advantage there, so they were like, oh, let's go, and we're going to pick up these kills, and then maybe push the lane. But KGB came in just in time to sort of send them off, and they know when to back out, as we can see.
Yeah, very, very solid play there. Not very many deaths on the KGB side, even though they're being so super aggressive. Now, there's one other really cool thing about Infinite Crisis we haven't talked about yet, at least on this map, Coast City. It's the power relays. We can see here is that Atomic Wonder Woman taking the one for the Blue Legion for KGB, and we have the Red Brigade's Vengeance Gaming Party has already been taken. Basically, if you have more power relays than your opponent, you're going to have stronger drones. Right now, for the whole game so far, both teams have taken to one on their side of the map. But at 15 minutes, that top power relay comes open, and as soon as there's an odd number of power relays, you can have one team with a superior number, and that's going to give them, if they have 2 power relays, the opposing team's 1, they'll have strong drones on the top. If they have all 3, they'll have strong drones on both lanes.
Yeah, and that's actually, it's one of those somewhat subtle things where you're like, oh, stronger drones, I guess that sounds cool, but it's actually super, super important to have because it lets your lane be sort of autonomous and push itself. It lets you sort of divert your forces elsewhere.
KGB just continues to pick up kill after kill here. You know, one thing that's really impressed me is Blue Freeze's ability to hit the lasso pretty consistently has really netted them a lot of kills. We can see there, I believe it was the opposing team's Joker, who basically looked like he was going to get away, but then he just got hit by the edge of the Joker ultimate from KGB, and then it still looked like he might get away, then the lasso hit to finish him off, an additional stun. Look at that, even using her her shield ability to teleport over the barrier and you know, support the Team Joker there to continue the aggression.
Yeah, and that's definitely the strength of Wonder Woman, is that she has a lot of utility with being able to support and to CC, and she has so much in her kit that it's, I mean, that's probably why they would pick somebody like Wonder Woman in a team composition where it's really organized over Atomic Green Lantern, because though Atomic Green Lantern is really disruptive, he can't do a lot of protecting and hard crowd control.
So, if we're looking at these teams, we can see, you know, the Wonder Woman's really helped so much out for KGB. Kind of, if I had to pick a kind of equivalent role, would it be the Arcane Green Lantern on VGN? That's kind of there just to support everyone, has some good stuns as well.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different, though, because his ultimate, while it's great, I don't think it's quite as devastating in a team situation.
It's a different kind of devastating. It can turn the tide of battle in your favor if you use it on the right person at the right time, because it is such a huge steal. It's such a huge shield. KGB actually getting caught out. Of course, Spaghetti coming in to save, but that was actually one miss by the Wonder Woman lasso. Didn't expect to see that. Don't usually see Wonder Woman miss a lasso. Yeah,
that's I think probably one of the trickier skill shots. Is it's a pretty narrow band. It's almost similar to Joker's Mr. Punchy, but his is like a 2-second cooldown, so you don't feel as bad when you miss it.
Yeah.
But normally, at this level of play, they are able to land it pretty consistently, although you can see top players are also kind of try to avoid it and make their movements unpredictable as well. But right. KGB just now to the top power relay we're talking about, so going forward in the game, they're going to have the stronger drones across the top, and actually, because it looks like they're going to go for Vengeance Gaming's power relay, that's going to give them a 3-0 power lead advantage, and I think that's a sign that they're well ahead in this game.
Yeah, being able to take that third power relay gives you such strong drones in both lanes, and it actually gives you increased damage to the enemy drones as well. Having a single power relay makes it so that you can push their drones harder. So not only are you doing more damage to their drones, your drones are doing more damage to their drones too, and they're super difficult to kill. So when you push with those drones, it's pretty deadly force. So
from here, I mean, KGB is just way ahead in this game. What is like the game plan for Vengeance Gaming? If there's like, well, okay, now it's time. We're definitely very far behind. Now it's time to make the long shot plays. What were some long shot plays you can try to make in Infinite Crisis?
Well, considering we have the timeline's actually really fantastic for knowing when the objectives are coming back up. You have the little diamonds on the top that you can mouse over that's telling you exactly what it is. The red diamond being Doomsday device. They, you know, obviously can't get that now. But knowing when it does come up, knowing when it spawns is really integral. And it actually even says when the enemy has a Doomsday device, and like as you can see, it's counting down now. So they're going to probably make a super aggressive play for that. Knowing that the enemy has Doomsday device at this point in time, the best thing would be for them with their 4 surveillance cameras over there to just stock up on vision, put it in areas that they know they're going to be assaulted at, which is really limited right now. They can really only come in from the top or the bottom lane right into the base, since their entire base seems to be sieged.
So speaking of the Doomsday device, right now Atomic Wonder Woman Spaghetti has it. You can see the 3 little red dots circling her. It's basically a giant bomb. She can choose to put it down anywhere within her sight range, basically. And where's she going to choose to put it? Looks like it's going to be right there. You can see the giant blue ring going down on both the turrets. Not going for any champion kills, but putting a lot of damage on those power core turrets. That's a great use of the Doomsday device as well.
Yeah, the Doomsday device can be used to increase the damage dealt to structures after you use it. Not only does it deal the damage itself, it lets you push even harder. So it looks like they're just going to push for this win here, immediately going into Shazam, even though Shazam's tanky. Everybody has just instantly died on the other team, with the exception of Gaslight. Batman, who appears to be going down as well. That was just a complete annihilation.
No one's tanky when there's this far behind. You've got a Cyborg who's just been fed like an absolute monster. Not to mention there's a Joker ultimate down there. There's Atomic Wonder Woman ultimate to chase him down. So much damage output from Team KGB. They're gonna go ahead and take that one in. One of the most convincing Infinite Crisis games I've seen.
Wow, they actually won in, what was it, under 19 minutes?
Ooh, that's brutal.
That's incredible.
And you know what's really cool about that game, I think, is it really showed the strength of the power relays, because they were winning by a good amount. But then as soon as they took the 3 power relays, the game was over within like 2 minutes from that.
Yeah, and I wonder if they even needed the Doomsday device. I mean, of course that helps a lot, but the 3 power relays allowed them to push so hard because the drones were basically just these huge, huge tanks for the turrets themselves. Yeah,
so, I mean, when the drones are that tanky, the turrets can't really clear them, and all you have to do is just watch out. The turrets will always attack the drones unless you kind of attack one of the enemy champions while you're in turret range. But with the amount of range champions they had, and Wonder Woman being so tanky, they could just back out of turret range even if it targeted them. And with the drones just putting out so much damage on the turrets went down super, super, super fast.
You know, it's something I actually want to comment on too. We keep talking about how tanky Wonder Woman is, and innately being an enforcer, of course, she is really tanky. But take a look at the way that Blue Freeze actually built her. He built her with Marauder Ring, Amulet of Isis, Atlantean Royal Seal, and Blue Scarab. So that's actually a hyper aggressive with a lot of health build. So a lot of health and a lot of power damage for Wonder Woman. That's actually insane. She didn't die a single time. Nine and Blue Freeze didn't die at all. They played really safely. But even with 15 assists, I mean, Blue Freeze was involved in 19 out of those 28 kills. At least that means he was involved in shielding or actually dealing damage within the time frame. Doesn't mean he wasn't there to support while the other kills are happening either. That's just a really interesting build for Blue Freeze, and I just want to point out that you don't have to build the way that you think your character is supposed to be built. You just have to play them really well, you know?
I feel like that almost makes the most sense, honestly, in a team situation, because basically the idea is if you build, like, as Wonder Woman, you kind of want them to attack you anyway.
Yeah.
And if you build yourself tanky, this can even more reinforce the goal. Basically, the other team's always going to try to avoid attacking Wonder Woman.
Right.
In most situations. So what's the point in building yourself tanky? Like, if they're attacking you, you've already won. You don't even need to be super tanky. Your team's already in good shape, as long as, I mean, if you're in a one-on-one or something, but you're not. I mean, you shouldn't be in a one-on-one with Wonder Woman. And then having all the extra power damage makes your ultimate stronger, makes your lasso stronger. Atlantean Royal Seal lets her stun people after a lasso hit. Once she has that maxed out, or slow them, excuse me.
Yes.
And then also, the Amulet of Isis is probably, I'm terrible with those items that you have to activate and use.
Really?
But someone like Blue Freeze, we saw how strong of a player he was, and like I'm sure in those team fights, you activate that, the whole team gets, was it plus 30% speed boost if for a couple seconds?
It's massive team-wide speed boost.
It's like, oh, they're running away. You know, like the Flash can run after him, but with Amulet of Isis, you're like, everyone get him! It's the whole team, and it's pretty much not much they can do with that item. That's such a cool item to get there, I think.
To be fair, I feel like maybe Blue Freeze wouldn't have gone so aggressively if they weren't winning so handedly. I think he might have opted for a slightly more defensive build.
Could be.
But he didn't need to. I mean, he went all out aggression, and he was able to deal some pretty intense damage.
And it's also the way that their whole team is playing. They're a very aggressive team. They weren't afraid to come in between turrets or flank turrets from multiple sides to try to get a champion kill. They weren't afraid to basically run in 2-on-3 because they knew their teammates were nearby. It was just, I think it felt that it fit their style really well, instead of like being defensive and then having Wonder Woman wait to try to attract a bunch of people.
Right.
And then kind of, like, I guess the difference is if you're playing more defensively, there's often times you're being poked and you don't want to go in, so you kind of want to have a little more tankiness so you can survive a bunch of pokes before you find your perfect spot. But
Yeah.
if you're a very aggressive team, they're like, our perfect spot is the instant we see them. So
Yeah.
they don't need
Actually,
quite
a
as
lot of-
much.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was saying they don't need quite as much sustain, I guess, playing that style.
No, definitely not. And as we saw, they were super aggressive, and it's really interesting to see the similarity between the builds, despite the fact that Cyborg and Gaslight Batman are two entirely different marksmen. They both got Zeiss goggles. They both got Cheetah's Claw. They both even started with Neil Weapon and got Marauder's Knife as well. So it's interesting to see the similarities between all of the builds and the artifacts that unanimously seem to be the ones that are regarded as strong, because we see a lot of cosmic staffs popping up. We see a couple of Coda Blades. It's interesting. It's definitely interesting.
Yeah, it's there's a bunch of items, but there's definitely a couple that it seems at least these teams really prefer. For Zeiss goggles for the marksman, cosmic staff seems to be a big one for the power damage characters, and then there's some like Atlantic Royal Seal, which is kind of a hybrid one, which is interesting to see. Typically you see Shazam and in this case Wonder Woman, which is pretty cool. But anyways, congratulations again to Team KGB. They did a great job there, and of course, for winning that match, they just won $500. And you can see they're all took for them to do that was to show up on Sunday, play a couple of games, win them all, $500 plus a whole bunch of pro points. It's going to help them qualify for the $5,000 tournament in I think it's near the end of January. It's in basically a month or so. And also, of course, if you guys want to play, you say, you know what? I can take those guys on, or I can make a run at that tournament. There's not that many people signing up for these. So, all you have to do is win 3-4 games in a row, get yourself $500. What you can do is you can go to mlg.tv/ICWinterOpen. Find out all the information on tournaments. You can sign up and play every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern. So when you're going to wanting to play in these tournaments. And again, Megan, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge of all the champions in the game of Infinite Crisis itself. I hope you had a good time today.
Oh, it looks like it went dark in here, but I'll just speak from the darkness. I have to say that I did have that. This is just because I don't want people to see my angry face at Spaghetti here. Nobody got to take revenge on Spaghetti for me, but I did have a great time. So thanks for having me, and it was nice seeing you, even though you can't see me anymore.
All right, again, that's it for us today, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and again, remember, sign up every Sunday at 2 p.m. are the tournaments. Every Saturday at 7 p.m. are going to be the broadcasts of the finals. See you guys next week.